you are still outside, you're going to want to get in here as quickly as you can. For those of you who are home, dialed in, like super focused right now, because this next couple of sessions is closing out GoPro 2023. So I do got to hear, and this is one of those moments where the crowd at home has got to hear this so that everybody is well aware. And I know that you're coming in from lunch and we're still gathering, but I do want to hear, has GoPro 2023 been worth every single penny? What do you think? The travel out here, the coming, the spending the time, the setting aside of other parts of our life that we could be putting our time into, but we're focusing right now. And I love how Eric talked about the focus we got when we reached out for 1 hour. See if we can have that similar focus for these last few hours as we finish this strong. So let's hear it. Are we ready to finish strong? All right, we've got a few more hours. Now, a couple of things. Tonight at the Worre home, I want to give you some housekeeping. They're going to be giving out wristbands, and you've got to be wearing the wristbands for the party. Show me if you got them. Show me if you got them. You got to have that on. Oh, man, that's some nice bling right there. Look at that. That's shinier, probably nicer than my watch right now. So we got the wristbands. Now, when we get done today, they're going to have buses that will be able to take 200 people. And as they say, first come, first serve. So those that get on the buses and want to take a bus, we got 200 seats available. Just hustle out there. Make sure you got your wristband on. And then when you come, and then anyone who's not on there, if you want to come, up, don't drive your car. Take an Uber. We don't have a lot of parking up there. If you do, they do have some valet service, but not really. So do not plan on taking your car. Take an Uber, take a Lyft up. But is it going to be worth it? Make the effort. Do not miss the opportunity. There is nothing like being able to cast your own vision in a home like Eric and Marina's and go, oh my gosh, we're working towards stuff like this if that's the goal that you have. Now, the other thing I want to mention is Network Marketing Pro, nmpro.ai. We had yesterday, we had, so many people want to get started with this AI tool. First of all, was that a cool AI tool? Yeah, I work in the tech space in Utah. I run an event called Tech Mondays. And whenever we're talking about AI and how it can help our business, it's important to know that it is a tool. It is a powerful tool. There's obviously, we got to have education, we got to have community, we got to have mentoring, but having tools is, a piece of that critical piece of every business. And that tool, that nmpro.ai, make sure you go out and get your free month, because just try it out, see what it's like, because it could definitely be something you want to have, paying attention to. The other thing, when you come to Eric and Marina tonight, make sure that you dress warm, because it is Vegas, but it's in the middle of the winter now. So make sure you dress warm for that. And last but not least, this has been GoPro 2023, but this is an annual event. You know that, right? Okay, I want to see who's been to the most GoPros. We're going to see who the winner is right now. How many of you have been to at least one GoPro event before? Raise it up. Keep them up. Keep them up. Who's been to at least 2 events? Okay, how about 5? Let's jump to 5. Been to 5 for real? Okay, 6, 7, 8. Now you're having to count. How many did I go to? 8, 9, 10, 11. Look at this right here. Now I'm going to say Jeff. I mentioned Jeff. Jeff, can you come up here really quick? This is Jeff Beebe. Let's give Jeff a round of applause. Here's what I love about Jeff. No, we're not doing that. He goes, take your shirt off. I'm like, I'm in charge, sir. You're not giving the cues. Oh, thank you. You're not giving cues. I put Jeff up here because who's the first person that's been here all 3 days?
First in line, baby.
First in line every time.
First
right up front.
Last one to leave.
Do you feel like Jeff is setting a good example for everyone on his team? What a great example. I wanted to bring Jeff up here because it is so important that we set that example. You going to be here next year?
Yes.
How many people are you bringing with?
As many as I can get in this room, because always Eric says, they're worth $10,000 a person. So I'm looking at $100,000 per person if I can get them to bill.
Wow.
And you know what, guys? How you show up in life when you're building a business, you always want to be in the room that you're the smallest fish, like he says. And to be in a room like you, with you guys, is an honor to me. And to be in a room with Eric and the people that he's around, dude, I'd do anything that guy says. He says, jump right, jump up, jump whatever way
How high?
To build this business, guys, just really realize if you're doing here, this is a business that can change the blueprint of your life forever. Retired me 12 and a half years early, almost 9 years ago, and building a business with my wife, living life to the fullest, traveling and enjoying life, supporting our teams all throughout the world. And it's because of this man right here, because if I wouldn't have showed up at an event, I tried to pay my wife to quit of this business, and she says, you don't get it. You need to come to an event with me. She took me to a corporate event. Immediately after, it took me to one of these, and I saw this guy, and I went, I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in. Congratulations. Yeah, for sure, man. Okay. He says he's in. I know so many of you are thinking the same thing. Let's move on to our next session. We're going to be hearing from some, Eric's going to take it over. He's going to actually give the intro on it, but this is an important understanding for each of us to really gain over the next hour. And as we learn this understanding, it's going to give us a renewed excitement for the profession. It's going to give us a renewed excitement for 2024 and what's possible and what we can do to be able to benefit others, be able to benefit our financial side, and be able to really help and impact the world. So Eric's going to be introducing him, and they're going to be going into that. So let's give Eric a nice warm welcome. So Eric, Worre.
Got a lot of stuff going on. We got some training to do this afternoon. We're going to talk about systems. We're going to talk about goals. We're going to talk about the next 12 months, how to take advantage of it, how to master the next 12 months. But before we do that, we got to talk about what we all need to do to make our profession better. It's a combined effort between the companies that are represented and what we do in the field. How many people are annoyed that network marketing has a bad reputation in some circles? How many people are annoyed by that? How many people can also acknowledge the fact that it's mostly our fault? We love to tell people stuff in our exuberance to get them to join. That isn't true. We love to tell people that it's easy. It's easy to build a business. Raise your hands if it's easy. Well, not one hand. Wow. Why do we keep saying it? The product sells itself. We go out there and we make these claims, and we put ourselves, our reputations at risk, and we put our companies at risk when we do it. So in a bunch of different ways, I think we put ourselves at risk. One is financial claims, that you're going to make X amount of money, which is irresponsible to do. Product claims, we can't resist. If we get a result, it seems reasonable to us that we should be able to tell somebody else that we had these disease symptoms and we now are free of that disease because of our product. And some of your companies have let you know this is not okay, right? And it's annoying. And there's this limiting belief going around inside of network marketing that I used to be able to really grow and build, but my company won't let me say anything. If I could say what I used to say, of course, I'd be able to get the results I used to get. Now, first of all, listen, there's only 2 countries in the world that allow pharmaceutical companies to advertise directly to consumers when it comes to prescription products. 2 countries in the world, New Zealand and United States. Do you think the pharmaceutical companies are upset that they have to put disclaimers on everything by advertising in the United States? No, they're just happy. Please just let us keep doing it. We'll put all the disclaimers on you want. We'll let people know they might die. Have you seen these commercials? You see people frolicking in the field, dancing and happy, And while they're listing you could die, shortness of breath, abrupt heart failure, everything, they're listing them all. Every epic disaster that could happen, they're listing while people are happily hugging each other on screen. You don't think this is true? Take a look. Take a look at any ad that's out there. They will tell you very quickly. What does that say? Come on, let me see it. You notice agitation, hostility, depression, or changes in behavior, thinking, or mood that are not typical for you, or if you develop suicidal thoughts, back it up, or actions, call your doctor right away. Results may vary. Consult your doctor. Chantix doesn't care. Chantix is happy for the opportunity. So here's what I want you to understand. There's things that your companies have to do in order to protect the opportunity long term. When it comes to customer requirements, when it comes to how the balance of structure. So some of your compensation structures and rewards are going to need to be adjusted as we move into the new future, because regulators are not amused with people who are fast and loose with promises to consumers that are irresponsible. So and here's what I would also tell you, just from a consumer standpoint. The consumer doesn't care about disclaimers. They just don't. If you want to join a McDonald's, you're going to have to sign disclosures this thick, saying it's not my fault, or I'm taking full responsibility. I'm not holding the company at fault for anything. I could lose all of my money. You have to sign over and over and over and over and over again. You're annoyed about an income disclosure? We're not even making them sign a one-page thing saying I could lose my money and that I understand I'm starting a business. We don't even have them do that. Be a good idea if we did. So we've been in the wild, wild west for a long time. And things have been irresponsible for a long time. And there have been some regulatory battles that have needed to be fought. And I will tell you, regulators do not want us to be in business. They would prefer that we were not in business. So what they have done is they've targeted company after company, some fairly, some unfairly, some because of the actions of the field, some because of the actions of the company. And recently, there was an action that a company was targeted that was pretty clean when it came to numbers and everything else. And the truth didn't matter. The regulators came for this company, and in coming for this company, they were coming for you. They were coming for your companies. They wanted to set legal precedent. They wanted to be able to create fences and boundaries around you. They wanted to be able to curtail your ability to earn commissions in a lot of different ways. And there was a company, and the owner of this company, who's been a longtime friend of mine, fought this fight for 7 years. And I'm going to let him tell his story and what it means for you and how you need to be part of the solution moving forward. And you need to work with your companies to be part of the solution as well. So please welcome to the stage my friend and a hero to the network marketing profession, Jeff Olson.
Nothing can break me down. Yeah.
You're way more fun to talk to than the people I've been talking to for 7 years, okay? You have a more positive outlook on life and believers on it. But it's great to be here, okay? And what I really want to do is share the story in a way that can allow you to go forward, maybe a little more confidence, but more importantly, be part of the solution, because the solution is still not here. And I'm going to share with you some of the insights that I learned along the way. But it's just good to be here. It feels good to be here. I haven't shared, Eric and I have a long history. I haven't shared the stage with him in almost 2 decades. We were distributors together in 2 companies and did real well there. And we were the officers of a company, and we did well there. And we were an owner of a company together, and we did well there. And we consulted to a company that we took to 1.5 million active customers. These are people outside the business model. We did that together. So a lot of cool things, and actually a lot of you might know me from the book The Slide Edge, and right, I agree. But and he was there when I was putting it together. He was my workout partner, coming up with the thoughts and putting it all together and coming out. So we have a long history with that. But as you know, there was a ruling they call it a landmark ruling just recently after our battle at the FTC. And it's now, you can call it, some people call it the gold standard, some people call it the Neora standard. Doesn't matter. What it is case law, okay? And this is the most important ruling in the history of this industry. There hasn't been one like this. We're the first company to ever take the FTC and the government to court and take it all the way to the end and then win, okay? And so this ruling has a lot of meaning, okay? And what's really neat about it is it finally has something we can lean into. And what's really neat, what I really want you to get to understand today, if you understand this ruling, but also at the same time understand where the marketplace is going. Because this industry is changing very dynamically right now. And it's going to change, it was changing going into the pandemic, it increased it during the pandemic, and it's continuing on. And it's what is happening in industry. If we're going to be successful, the companies that will be, and some companies are going to adjust rather well, some companies are going to adjust rather badly, and some companies are going to fall out because of this. There's change going on, and that's okay. Change happens all the time, but the change is actually happening to a better place. The way the consumer wants to buy is changing dramatically. The way that people who consider themselves independent want to work is changing dramatically. And we are, as an industry, positioned to leverage that, but it's a whole new way of working. And if you study our ruling, which most people haven't read this ruling, it's very in depth. This judge took 11 months after this whole time to write this ruling, and it's one of the most in-depth rulings you've ever read. And I guarantee you, your attorneys or your companies are reading it, okay? But when she establishes this ruling, it's almost as she was giving us the path to be part of where the marketplace is going. And she saw what we were doing. So I'm going to speak to that. And just recently, last week, was the 60 days after the ruling. And you have to wait till they have the time to appeal. And so in normal lawsuits, you have 30 days to appeal. The government always makes sure the rules are on their side. Trust me, when you're fighting the government, you have a pea shooter and they got a shotgun. It's the most unfair fight you've ever gone through in your life. But it had 60 days to appeal. Everybody thought they would appeal because this ruling was not just a win, it was a beat down win. Okay, she called them out in this whole thing. And they thought so there was 5 things went after. There was the product, there was the income, there was a pyramid, there was a thing called agency, and there was a thing called means and instrumentation. And we won hands down on the pyramid, and we won really hands down on the product and the income, and I'll explain that in a second. But the thing that they thought they would appeal is called agency. Because the government does not want the independent contractor status to exist. They do not like it, okay? They want to push everybody into corporations where they have control. That's just the way it is. And so they've been going after that, and they're trying to not allow people to be independent contractors. They don't like 1099. They want everybody to live in a W-2 world. That's where they're going. And so they wanted to prove that we were controlling our people as agents, okay? And they came after that. That went really hard. And the other thing they call is means and instrumentations. Means I have the means as the owner or the person running the company to give you the instruments to go do the wrong thing. Okay, and that really is what my lawyer said is one thing they're going to go after very, very hard, because if they can get that, if they can get a ruling on that thing, it's just going to clamp everybody down. And so when they didn't appeal that, that said a lot. Okay, and quite honestly, this lawsuit, of course, it protected Neora. It protected this industry, but it protected, because of that, it protected the real estate industry, the insurance industry, the broker industry, anybody who operates in a 1099 status. They should be thanking us for what happened there. That was a major, major win. And the ruling was so decisive that this will be the case law that they'll be citing way after I'm gone. They're going to be saying the Nora Olson case law, okay? And so, trust me, it's not worth going through to get there. But with that said, what I want to share with you guys, and one thing about that though, it's interesting is because we won that, they're always coming after owners saying that we made you do the wrong thing. Now I think they're going to start watching you more, and they're going to find people who are doing the wrong thing, and they're going to go say, "We'll go get you," okay? Because I'll guarantee this. I've got to know these people very, very well, and I spent a lot of time with them in DC, just a lot of time talking to them, and they do not like us, okay? In any way at all. I mean, they don't even go out of their way to try to be nice to you. I mean, you really don't even feel like you're an American citizen when you're in front of them. There's just the arrogancy, the condescending nature of the way they talk to you and treat you is, that almost gets me emotional because it's not right. Okay, because I'm a true patriot. I live in this country. I live in the laws. I love this country. But what they go through is amazing. But with that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some of my insights, a little bit of my opinion, and I'm going to also share a little bit about Neora, not as a pitch, but more so you understand why we were able to fight first of all, why we were able to make the decision to fight the fight, okay? And then why we were able to win the fight. And what I hope you see through my presentation today is how that really, if you get that, puts you in alignment with what's going on in the marketplace. I want to share with you a market. This is a very, very prestigious research company. They're out of, I think, of the Netherlands. And they're highly, highly respected. They just came out about 30 days ago. I'm going to read a very short part of this, okay? But listen to this, said, because what's happening, we're right now about a $190 billion industry. This market research company says by the year 2030, that's 6 years from now, be a 330 billion. Okay, so it's taken all these years to get to 190. In 6 more years, we're going to go to 330. Okay, that's what they're talking about. Here's what they say it's going to happen. I just pulled my neck back there, so if I don't look right, I look down. Okay, it says consumers is a key word here. This industry has to be driven by consumers now, and I'm going to speak to that more. Consumers' increasing desire to examine and verify products before making a purchase is a driving force in the global industry. Okay, consumer wants to make that decision. Okay, this trend, influenced by the internet ecosystem, which we understand, and changing consumer demand, has given rise to a new business models, including the direct-to-consumer D2C distribution channels. Direct selling has emerged as a dynamic and rapidly evolving method of product and service distribution. That's what's going on. Now, how was that written? That was written from the customer's perspective, okay? And that's what's going on right now. The way people want to buy and the way people want to work is changing. E-commerce is exploding. That's the new future. The direct sales industry has to be part of that. What do we do in the direct sales industry? I know you can't hear about this will move into the lawsuit, okay? But what do we do in the direct sales industry? It sets us apart from the e-commerce world. You understand they say by the year 2040 that 90% of all consumer goods will be through e-commerce, not retail. That's how. So we got this fast. So what do we as an industry do that Amazon can't do? What we can do if a product needs to be felt, touched, experienced, explored, handled, demonstrated, educated, we can do that better than Amazon can. We have to lean into who we are, okay? So this space is growing very rapidly, the e-commerce platform. Inside of it, why do you think we're going to go? It took us 100 years to get to 190 billion, but we're about ready to go to 330 billion in the next 6 years because the pie is getting bigger. We have our piece of the pie, and what is that piece? We give demonstrations of products. My soccer mom can go to the game and show somebody a product, let them touch the product, give them testimony of the product, show them pictures of the product, talk about it, okay? They can bring the experience to that. That's what the direct sales is, okay? We can bring that live experience to it. And so we need to, lean into that because that is the differentiation for us. And so as you look out there, they're saying that by, as I said, 2024 is going to be 90%. The other thing is the biggest movement I've ever seen in independent contractors ever is what came out during the pandemic and after the pandemic called the gig economy. We're all hearing about the gig economy, but I'm going to be talking about, because this judge in her ruling sets up the standards about how you can operate there. But what we have to do as an industry to get there. Because right now, the 50 to 60 million people looking into the gig economy, only 3% of them have picked a models. People who are driving the ability to engage in an opportunity without all the games that sometimes we play in this industry. And that was a big part of this case when we went through it. So I'm going to tell you how we put this company together and how to stand up. I've been in this industry a long time. And when I decided to come out of semi-retirement to build this company, I said to all my friends, I said, I'm going to build the perfect check sales company. Right. Okay. And I'm going to take all the gotchas out of it. And I'm going to show everybody how you can do it. That was me doing that. Okay. And so we did. You know, our company is $20 to get in. There's no more fees. Took all the fees out. Took all the qualifying. I'll go through all the things. Just took all the gotchas out. Built back then. There was nobody had a direct to consumer portal. The day we launched, we had a portal that sat over here, and only people came to that portal were customers. Distributors came through here. They never touched. Okay. And it was just a clean portal. So we could treat it like an e-commerce platform would treat you. We were building an e-commerce direct-to-consumer model. I want to take out all the need ever for anybody to have inventory. You don't have to have inventory. You go get the customer, we'll ship the product to you, and we'll pay, okay? There's no need for inventory, because there is no need for that anymore with everything that's going on, unless you're chasing a comp plan with packs. Big difference, okay? But it should be with the technology we have now, the systems we have now, that you can just build a direct-to-consumer. So we built a direct-to-consumer portal, where we never even had their social security numbers. These people bought voluntarily, like you would buy any other product, person's product voluntarily, and that's what we built. No inventory demands, okay? And here's what I'm going to give you the statistics that showed up. Now, for the people who saw our company when it was called Nerium before we changed it to Neora, you know, we broke records in our first years doing this. Out of this industry, it's 100 plus years old, and thousands of companies. Less than 1/10 of 1% of the companies ever in this industry had done growth-wise what we did, and we did it on customers, okay? So I'm going to give you some numbers and stuff that the judge cites in the ruling. And this now is part of the standard of case law. That is why we were able to stop them from what they were trying to do. Number one, 80% of our business comes from customers. We don't have their social security number. We know nothing. They're buying voluntarily because they like the product. 4% of our sales were packs. We didn't build a model. We were chasing the comp plan with packs. And the judge saw this, and the FTC dug down hard on this. And I'll get to this in a while, but they spent so much time trying to take that apart, okay? Because to them they wanted to prove that we didn't have customers. To them we wanted to prove that we played games with packs, okay? A third of our brand partners were former customers that just switched over to becoming a brand partner. That's what we call a distributor. A third of our distributors come from our customer base. When they left the customer base and came over to the brand partner side, we subtract them off. So that 80% doesn't include them. If you included them, the number go up over 90%, okay? A third of them, of our brand partners, come from our customer base because they like the products so much they decided to become a customer. Follow this one. And I'll get to this later on how this happened. Our customers spend more money per order than our brand partners. That's huge. And they dissected that hard. Because you take all your customers, if you have them, okay, you take all your customers, and you take your total volume, you divide it by customers, that's your average customer order. You take your brand partners, you divide it, and your customers are buying $80 a month, and your brand partners are buying $500 a month. You got a problem, okay? Because you're moving product, driving a comp plan versus moving product, driving sales. Is a big, big thing, okay? When we were able to show that our customers spent more than our brand partners, you couldn't say that we were playing the games of the comp plan. Couldn't say that. The numbers didn't support that, okay? They ran into that one. We never paid $1 to play. Never paid anybody for recruiting. Never paid, you recruit that person, you get money for it. We never paid $1. Because pay to play is where they want to get you, okay? So I'm going to talk about, we here as distributors in this great industry, your owners are under a lot of pressure right now. They're talking to me. I know them. I'm in conferences with them. And they're trying to figure out how to adjust to this, okay? But adjusting to this, it's going to be difficult, but it's going to be good, okay? It's going to be good for us because we, as an industry, can't quit being the way we were. We got to start looking like the way the world is. We can't keep expecting the world out there to come and play our game. We got to go and play their game if we want to be part of that explosion that's going on right now, okay? The other thing we did is we had no structure. You could go to the top of our comp plan just selling product. No structure. Doesn't mean we don't have structure. Don't take that wrong, okay? But you can just do anything. I'll get to that later on. But so the idea of somebody having to get somebody over here to rank so I can rank, they would not like that, okay? They want you to be a legitimate marketing company selling products to legitimate customers because they want the products. So we have no structure. Now, what happens in our company, people come in because everybody's selling products, they sell it or not, start making $500,000 a month. Most of our business is people making $500,000 a month just selling products, okay? You can't help but have somebody saying, I want to do that. So all of a sudden you say, okay, join me, and all of a sudden you step into what? The structure side. It's the greatest thing you do. The greatest honey you got is your products, okay? And customers who all of a sudden people start selling the product and they drift into the structure side, okay? So we had no structure. So with that said, we were going along, everything was happening real good for us. And one day in 2016, the government shows up. It's called the CID. And it's an event, and there's CIDs in this industry right now. And there's actually been letters pretty much sent to every single company in this industry, put them on notice, okay, about what's going on. And when we got it, I sat down there and I said, give them everything we got. I'm not going to hide nothing. We have nothing to hide. Why are they here? I just thought I just must have got the unlucky draw, okay? And so we gave them everything. We opened up to them, anything they wanted. Gave them 6 million documents over 16 rounds of production. Every email in the history of our company, every email I ever sent out, every email our staff sent to each other, every email to the field, every email our field was talking to each other, every single thing, every video, every conference call, every recruiting call, every conference, everything. We gave them every single thing we had. They could see anything they wanted. We hired Dr. Vandella. Dr. Vandella is an econometrician. Econometrician is way above an economist. Dr. Vandella used to be head of the economic bureau for the FTC. They still look at him as a gold standard. We spent millions of dollars while we were debating with them from 2016 to 2019. Spent millions of dollars with Vandella. We gave them all our data. We gave Vandella all of our data, and we stayed out. We said, you go through all the data. And he came back. We went and met with the commissioners of the FTC. He says, and this is the guy that their head economist looks up to as his mentor. He says, not only are they not a pyramid, they're not even close to being a pyramid. So we gave them everything, produced all the data. You know, and during that time, we studied every single case law, every single guidance, every single DSA posting, every single lawyer podcast to see where to go. I thought we were the cleanest company there was, okay? And we were. We did everything we could. But what I found out is they don't care. They don't care. When the book comes out, you'll realize how much they don't care, okay? It's actually disgusting what goes on. So we started going back and forth with them. Came up with about 13 things that they said, well, if you do this or this, we pretty much could do them all, but most of the industry, I was thinking, they'll have a hard time doing these. But we're kind of looking at them. We got to two that were big. One was, you can't pay any commissions to on any purchases by a distributor. Only customers. We'd only lose 10% of our company. I could have survived that easy. It would have crushed the industry. That's where I had a huge problem, a huge problem. And then they kept on saying, we want you to do Advocare. Take it down to 2 levels. And I always like to say, and we didn't advocate, okay? But we fought over those things. We finally, I knew what was going on in the industry, all the people we get talk to. And it was a tough decision because, I remember I went to my attorneys. I said, start putting together a lawsuit, we're gonna sue. They said, no, you don't sue the government. I go figure out how I can sue the government. And so they started putting it together. It's been a long time putting it together. We couldn't get to a place that was right, okay? I was looking for a solution, but I was looking for a solution that was fair. And finally, we made a decision to sue. One thing we did about that was really good. We're transparent, had our field on. We told them everything was going on. We told them why we're going to do it. We're protecting you. We're doing everything. We sued them. They sued us back immediately, okay? And then we spent millions of dollars the next 9 months arguing about jurisdiction. We finally gave up jurisdiction. We moved from the plaintiff into the defendant, and we got it moved into Dallas, Texas, and that's where the trial was done. And so here's what goes on, okay? This is what you got to get. Everything I just said to you, statistics and way beyond, the judge cites all that data in the ruling. Cites all that data in the ruling. The FTC knew all that data 6 years ago. So everything she cited for why we won, they knew, but they never stopped. There's 2 words I learned how they operate. One's, and these are their words, not my words. Choke point and fencing. When you sit down with them, they literally look you in the eyes and say, you will never survive a lawsuit with us. The collateral damage will take you out of business. The fact that you're in a lawsuit with us will put you out of business. Your field will leave you. Your management will leave you. And guess what? They did. The bad ones. The good ones stayed. In their opening documents to us, they said that anybody who worked for me could never work in the direct sales industry again. So I lost 4 of my 7 top executives because they're afraid if I stick around here, I'll never be able to work again. But the good ones stayed. Okay, just that alone, that hit is devastating. But it gets way worse. All of a sudden, the bank we're using, Bank of America, around the world, there are treasury banks, there are merchant processor banks. You have 90 days and you got to get out of here. We don't want to see you again. We've only moved billions of dollars through them. We've never done anything wrong. Now you try and go from a tier 1 bank in 90 days, get new banking around the world. And you've got to go to that bank and tell them, oh, by the way, I'm here because I'm in a lawsuit with FTC. Because they're going to know. So you got to tell them. So you go from a tier 1 bank to a tier 3 bank. Service fees go way up. It costs us millions of dollars. Okay. Service levels go way, way down. And that's what we had to go through. That's hard to survive. Choking you. They're choking you. My bank, who happened to be Bank of America, decades, I've never bounced a check, told me personally I had to leave. I hadn't done anything wrong. I haven't broke the law. We haven't gone to court yet. You got to leave. Got thrown out of my own bank. Okay. Our suppliers, we're not going to have accounts receivable if somebody's in a lawsuit with the government. So everything goes on, pay up front. They're choking you. Choking you. Insurance rates go up, choking. It just gets worse. But the hardest thing was the public scrutiny. All of a sudden, I remember talking to people and everybody thought, yeah, I tell them we didn't do anything wrong, we're a good company, but they are always thinking, there's got to be something. There's got to be a smoking gun. This can't be going on. I'm going, you guys, I'm telling you this is how it is, okay? But we live in a social world. My brand partners, for 4 years, you go recruit where people Google you and they're saying that you're a scam. Go try and do it. That's what my field had to do for 4 years. They're choking you and choking you because the government has ultimate authority on the front page of Google. Google gives them ultimate authority. You cannot push them down. They're choking you. My friends turned on me. I had friends say, Jeff's going to go to prison. I go, this is not a criminal case. It's a civil case, you know. But like people believe the government. They believe it. That's called choking. What they want to do is put so much pressure on you, you'll agree to things that are not the law. That's called fencing in. That's what Advocare did. They started fencing in. If we had given the Advocare, it was over. That would have been a domino effect. They're just taking the industry because they'd have gotten the momentum there. That's what they do is they choke you so that you will agree to things that are not the law because they don't want to go to Congress and get the law. They like ambiguity. They like uncertainty because they want to establish the rules. They don't want to go to Congress. And so that's the game they play. They choke you and they try to give into things that creates new guidance and the industry has to adjust to it. Okay. That's what they did. What happened here is we fought them. And what happened, and I told them this, I go, you guys don't want to do this because we're going to go to court. We're going to beat you. They're just laughing at you because you're going to now establish case law that's going to stop you from doing this as bad as you did. And that's what happened. We went after them. And so we went to court. I could tell you story to story, all the things that happened in that 4 years, what happened in the courtroom. We have them twice in the courtroom showing falsified documentation on expert witness. Get the ruling and read it. It's all in there. So it's the game they play. Okay. We got it done. It took her 11 months to write the ruling. It was a very, very, very big ruling. You know, it was really funny because going through it the whole time, I kept on saying, why is this happening to me? I'm trying to build the right company. I took all the gotchas out. I did everything right. And it was hard, but what I've come to realize, I said, you know, I'm a man of faith. I go, this is how it works. This is the divine intervention. I got to go through this so that when I win the case, I really can do something to change the rest of the industry. Okay. And so, and so that's where we went. Okay. So what have we done? Here's what you're going to learn from this. Customers are God. You got to look at your business model. How much of your volume is being drawn is happening because of customers who are outside of your business model. They're not, you don't have a social security number. They're not into the comp plan. They're separate. Okay. Customers are there. I'm going to get into that in a second. Okay. PACs, you're chasing a comp plan with PACs. If your volume is a lot of packs being sold for rank at the end of the month, they're going to see that. Trust me, they go into every single thing. Okay, that day is going to have to change. People are going to have to start. This ruling is very clear about that. Okay, so you got to be customers. You can't be playing comp plan games. You got to be building a real customer model. It's okay to use a direct sales model to build customer gatherers, okay? But that's real important. Compliance. This judge cited over and over and over our compliance department. You heard Eric up here talking about it. My people said to me all the time, why does everybody else get to do what they're doing and we can't do it? Well, they're not in the lawsuit either. But the thing is, compliance, the reason we were able to stop means of instrumentation and stop agency is because we did have a robust active compliance department that did enforce the policy procedures, that did enforce those. that did make you have disclaimers. I would sit at our conferences and I see disclaimer statement up on the screen 80% of the time. I mean, it was bad, okay? But it is how we had to live. Our field, we had to force them to do it. We put on, there was a day and a half of that trial was just nothing but looking at our compliance data, okay? And this judge cites in that, hey, they did everything, they can't control what these people do, but they did everything to educate them, everything to train them, everything to watch them. And they weren't a company that tried to crush people and they broke the rules. We don't do that. We don't go and get rid of you. Go in this, I know you understand this. Here's what you need to know. And we always follow that with, this is what you need to do. Okay, give them a plan to go out of it. But the compliance thing was real important. So just understand, compliance is going to become more and more of the process. What's going to happen, us distributors here, or brand, whatever you call yourself, we're either going to work with our companies to be part of the solution or part of the problem. Okay. It's changing now, is what I'm trying to say. And it's okay, because it's good. It needs to happen, okay? But so just be a part of that. So what can you do? What should you be looking for? The future is, like it says in this thing, is customers. The industry needs to be driven by customers. You have to have a very robust customer acquisition model. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about ours, but just get some ideas. First of all, does your e-commerce platform look like the others outside the direct sales space? You can't have some clunky, slow e-commerce model, because we don't have to be very good, because you're in our business model. Your customers are not in your business model. So you've got to look and feel and smell and operate like a real e-commerce platform. You got to invest in that, okay? Heavily invest into that. It's real important that you have products of value. I look at our cost of goods sold in our financial statements, and it's higher than most companies. You got to really invest in products that people are buying. You don't want products being bought because of people are buying them to launder money amongst friends, okay? The product cannot be being bought because of the comp plan. It got to be being bought because of consumer desire. That's the law now, okay? That's the law. And so you got to have products of value. What's really good on the other side of that, you build a book of business. See, my distributors, when they start every month, they got a book of business like an insurance agent. We have people who bought a product in the 12 years ago when we launched the company. They've been buying that same product for 12 years, and the person that sold to them is going to get paid every single month. You start building this book of business, repeatable business. You have real products. You know, people, if they like a product, they buy it, okay? Especially if we go out and demonstrate to them. It needs to be felt, touch, experience, support, handle, demonstrate, and we get them to like it, and we're there with them. They don't get that from the store. They don't get that from Amazon. They get that from us. We should have more stickiness, more retention than any other distribution model. So if you really are building a customer base with a true e-commerce platform, a real direct-to-consumer model, you start building a book of business. And so instead of at the beginning of every month, you have to chase your business, you start out pretty much predictable income. We know at the beginning of every month, that's pretty much you've got. Those are our customers. So there's a good side to that. There's a really good side to that, is to have what we call book B in the business. We have no fees to be a customer. It blows my mind. I asked them to go through all the companies, and I can't believe how many companies are charging fees to be a customer. You don't charge fees outside this industry to be a customer. Nobody does that. We've got to quit. We can't keep on saying we are the direct sales world and we're going to do things our way. E-commerce is exploding. It's happening with or without us. We got to look like them, okay? They do not charge fees when you buy their product, okay? They don't do that. We have things, I'll give you examples. We have that like customer referral rewards program. What we do, you're a customer. If you go out and refer a customer referring a customer, we're going to give you $10 and credit towards the next thing. And the person who's that customer gets $10. So it can just boom, 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 boom. Just investing in the future of the products, getting them engaged with you, okay, referring people to you. We have a New York cash back program where every time a customer buys a product, We give them a $10, 10% of whatever they bought credit towards our next purchase. So we're just constantly saying, we love you for being this. We're constantly communicating to them like you see your e-commerce platforms do. We give them birthday gifts, real birthday gifts, not an email, a real hard thing, okay? What you got to become competitive in e-commerce platform. You got to become competitive in the direct-to-consumer platform. You got to act and smell like they do out there, okay? If you want to be part of what the biggest movement this industry has ever seen. I mean, we're sitting in front of the biggest opportunity in the world. And again, I'm going to go back to this. What do we do that they can't do? We bring us to the table. The product is felt, touched, experienced, explored, handled, demonstrated, educated. We can kick butt in that. They can't do it. That's our unfair advantage. We should be able to sell better than them. We should have better retention than them. And because of that, if you have quality products, you treat it properly, you can build a book of business, okay? And so that's on the buy side. Let's go to the work side, okay? Because this really plays into this. And when you read this case law, it signs up there. We got to look like where the world's at right now. The gig economy is rocking, and it's just going to get bigger and better, okay? The days of us as an industry sitting out over on the side of the universe by ourselves saying we play by a whole different set of rules, and we got this vernacular, and here's how we do things, is there's a convergence going on. We got to look like them. We can't expect them to come and look, come in and play our game. Okay. So example, we do $20, and you never do no renewal fees, because go to the gig economy. They don't do that to them. Okay. So these people have options they didn't have 5 years ago. People, there's a lot of other options to make secondary income. There's a workforce like we've never seen with retirement going on. This workforce is being led by women. It's mainly 70% women who left the workplace. 70%. They didn't leave the workplace because they don't want to work. They left because they wanted flexibility with their family, their parents, and their community. Okay? They just want to belong to something. They're not looking for a game. They just want to belong to something, okay? So we don't have any fees like that. They can rank, you can rank advance with no recruiting. No recruiting at all. Recruiting is they need to drift into it. I'll give that a second. We have no inventory requirements. We have a program like 3 or Free. If you go out and get 3 customers, like on our night cream, then you get 1/3 of that in credits. So you get your night cream for free. Stay 3 customers the next month, yours is free. 3 customers the next month, yours is free. Guess what? If you do that, you get the entire comp plan. There's no qualifying. Now you're acting like the gig economy. There's no qualifying. They get their product for free and that. We have a thing called Worre Gives Back. Every time you sell a product, you get credits. Those credits go towards buying any product you want to. Why do we do 3 or Free and Worre Gives Back? Because what does a gig economy do that we can't do? They give them a transaction. They give the Uber driver a customer. They give the DoorDash person a customer. So we're trying to take out, we can be competitive. We'll say, well, we'll give you 3 or Free. We'll give you Worre Gives Back. Okay, trying to make it something palatable to them. You got to treat your customer gatherers as if they're part of your team. I've seen people bolting on programs, that type of thing. You got to bake it into your comp plan. We're taking 800 people to a 5-star resort in Mexico in February. You know how many of those people are going to be just customer gatherers? We don't treat them differently than this. We bring them into our community. They're not just something we're bolting on. They're part of the process, okay? 40% of every sales goes to the person who sold it. And you're probably saying, well, is there money left for us? We have a very strong back end. Our back end is as strong as anybody else's, okay? But a back end gets even stronger when it's built on a book of repeating business, okay? And that is the beauty of everything that happened right here. And one thing we have, think about it, the sweet spot in the gig economy is $500 to $1,000. So if you have real products with a real e-commerce platform, direct to consumer, you give them all the tools and assets, you got a good, robust customer acquisition model, that's easy to do. You don't have any of the fees. They don't have to chase the comp plan. They don't have to do anything like that. They're just selling the product. But all of a sudden, somebody else says, I'm interested. boom, they drop over into the structure side. Okay. And also they start having these dreams of networking and that type of thing. And so what do we have that the gig economy doesn't have? A book of business. You don't get a book of business at Uber or DoorDash. What else do we have that they don't have? Community. There's not going to be no DoorDash people going to a Port of Arts resort, okay? We bring community to them, okay? And so, I mean, think about it. We got to lean into who we are. Lean into who we are. And what this ruling did is it validated it. It just cites over and over and over and over our customer acquisition model, our product value, our business model didn't make people do things just to chase the business model. That was a big thing. They were just doing it because they wanted to. That's why our customers spend more money in our brand partners. Why is that? Because our brand partners don't have to, because they're getting 3 or free. See, they're getting the org gives back. They don't have to spend as much money as a customer because they're getting these perks given to them. Okay. All of a sudden we're competitive in that rule. Only 3% of the gig economies come over here so far, because we've got to quit telling them that we got to quit telling them they got to come here and play our game. They're going to play their game. That's what this ruling said. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to what I said to you earlier. I said customers increasing desire to examine and verify products, felt, touched, experienced, explored, handled, demonstrated, educated. Okay, before making a purchase is a driving force in the global industry. This is what we're talking about: 190 billion to 330 billion. This trend, influenced by the internet ecosystem, which you're part of, and changing consumer demands, which I just talked about, okay, has given rise to new business models. You guys, you've got to allow your owners to shift to where the world's going to. If you want to be a dinosaur, every dinosaur I know, I've never met one, is dead. Okay? The old way of doing business for a lot of places has to change. It has to change. And this case law was really clear about it. Okay? It established that customer acquisition, real customers, real products, real compliance. That's what it established. Okay? New models, including direct-to-consumer distribution channels, direct selling has emerged as a dynamic and rapidly, next word is key, evolving method of product and services and distribution. It's not only the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. Okay? I mean, I see this industry is positioned like it's never been positioned before for growth. The market is expanding rapidly. We do something that nobody else can do, whether it's in the way people consume, okay, or the way people work. We bring us to the table, which nobody else can do that. The marketing forces are changing, okay? And it was really almost eerie to see how this ruling was so in alignment with where the market's going. And, you know, they say by 2030, like I said, it's going to go to 330 billion from 190. It took us 100 years to get to 190. Think about that, okay? But think about it. I always say in our company, we always talk faith, but faith, family, legacy, okay? They say by the year 2040 that 90% of all consumer goods are going to be e-commerce. They didn't say it's all going to be selling packs to people chasing a comp plan. E-commerce, okay? You want to build a legacy business? You get in alignment with the market forces. This industry has the potential to be the most dynamic marketing tool inside the space of e-commerce business and inside the space of the gig economy. Those forces aren't going away. They're growing rapidly, and we should be getting our lion's share of it. We really should, okay? So what I'm really proud of is that this case law is finally giving us something we put our teeth into. What I'm asking of you, when I came here, when Eric asked me, is because really this is not going to happen just at the board level, the CEO level, the owner level. It's got to be us together working together, okay? Understanding, because they're going to maybe ask you to do some things differently, and you want them to be asking you to maybe do some things differently. Some companies are closer to this, some companies are farther away. There's going to have to be some dramatic changes sometimes. Some people are going to have to make some bold decisions. That's okay. Change, change is good. But we have change that's going to is in the marketplace that is happening as fast as it's happening in front of us right now. To not be putting yourself in alignment with looking like them and operating like them is foolish. Okay. And what's beautiful about this is you now have a case law. If you go out and bust it to do that, it's going to protect your back. Your back finally is protected. There's never been a case law like this given to an industry that established something so clear that was so in alignment with where the marketplace is going. Okay, so with that, God bless you all. I wish you the best. Let's all have a great conference.
Around.
Yeah, folks, everybody.
Nothing can break me down.
All right.
Around.
Be honest. How many of you got a little bit scared? Anybody? A little bit? It's a little weird, right? Hear that kind of conversation. But listen. Let me give it some perspective. Okay? The perspective is this. We as field members need to be responsible in claims. They need to be when it comes to product, when it comes to opportunity. There's nothing wrong with that. The buyer will buy anyway. The distributor will join anyway. We just need to do it responsibly. We're more credible when we do it responsibly. And second, what was most important here is that the companies now know how to effectively protect themselves. And if you start thinking for a moment, hey, this feels like regulators are coming after network marketing. Subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. Just subscribe. Pick up any day's paper and read it. They're coming after everyone. Every profession, every field, every distribution model, every company, they're coming after everybody. It's not a new thing, and it's not specific to us. If you think you're special, we're this little tiny itty bitty thing in comparison to what they're doing to tech companies, what they're doing with consumer product companies, what they're doing with e-commerce companies. It's everywhere. So look, this was a little unusual to have this conversation in the middle of a GoPro, but we're in an unusual time. And day one was about what? Recruiting. Day two is about duplication. Day three was about leadership. And sometimes in leadership, we need to have a conversation. Okay? So I just want you to have that as some perspective to be able to know some course corrections, some adjustments, to not be so resistant to little things that companies are going to have to do and the field's going to have to do. And it is a partnership. It is a dance that we're all going to be involved with together in order to be able to have a forever company, to have a forever distributorship. Okay? And all the different examples he was citing as far as stuff his company's doing, your company's innovating, I'm sure, in unique and exciting ways to be able to set yourselves up for you guys to be forever companies. I'm proud of all the organizations that are connected inside of this room that are innovating, that are leading, that are understanding that the fundamentals don't change, but style does. The marketplace does. And when it comes to the field, what we're going to do, what leaders do, it's been funny. My whole life has been every election. We're about to go into another election season. And every election, it's like, if this side gets in, it's going to be the end of the United States. And if the other side gets in, it's going to be the end of the United States. For my whole adult life, it's been the same mantra. And here's what I realized. Doesn't matter who goes in. To an entrepreneur, some might have more benefits or less depending on your belief system. Doesn't matter, whatever. Pick your side, do what you're going to do, vote who you're going to vote for. What I'm saying is, Entrepreneurs adapt. All of you as entrepreneurs adapt. You find a way. They raise the taxes, you adapt. They lower the taxes, you adapt. They have more regulatory scrutiny or less, you adapt. We're living in a world that's changing in real time. We need to be, here's what I'd like you to be as leaders. Build a culture within your organization that can adapt. And you're known for how quickly you as a group can adapt to whatever is thrown at you. Doesn't matter. Pandemic, adapt. In our lifetime, is there likely to be another pandemic? Likely. In our lifetime? Likely. Do we have a playbook from the last one on what worked and what didn't? We're going to be ready. If that happens, God forbid, if it happens, we'll adapt. Okay? So, here's what I want to talk about. The next section, I want to talk to you about systems. Systems. Systems for everything. What is a business but a collection of systems? That's all it is. A collection of systems. We use campaigns, we use challenges to buy time until we can introduce people to systems that are skill-proof and fear-proof. And that buys time until people can become skilled, highly skilled. And that buys time until people can become a leader. You understand the progression? Campaigns, challenges, buys us time. The field is almost always better at systems than corporate. Sorry, corporate. So, for most of you company people, it's better to empower the most valuable that's being created in the field than it is to compete with it. Just don't create any monsters when you do it. Skill proof and fear proof. That's the goal. You can do it without skills and without courage. That's what you're looking for. A system people can plug into that will work. Here's when somebody looks at it, you want to looks at your system. You want them to think three things. This looks simple. I think it will work. And I think I could do it. And let me tell you something, as leaders, simple's hard. Simple's hard. Complicated's easy. Complicated's easy. You can add a million add-ons and bolt-ons and different, flavors of stuff. You can get complicated in your campaigns. You can get complicated in your different aspects of things. And there's lots of complicated layers of leadership. But when it comes to systems, whew, if it has 14 steps, it's probably too many. Even if all 14 are important, can you get it to 10? If you can get it to 10, can you get it to 7? If you can get it to 7, could you get it to 5 if we had to and get most of the results? If you can get it to 5, could you get it to 3? Please, God, get it to 3. Could you get it to 1? Oh, the dream. If you can get it to 1. But this is what you're looking for, okay? This is not easy. This takes work. Field will usually refine this. This looks simple. I think it'll work. I think I can do it. Here's how you know you have a system. How you know.